I've already made up my mind on the Taq Strap. I know I said in my first look video that I would do a proper review on the Taq Strap after a couple months, but I think I have enough information to make this video after only a couple weeks. If you enjoy real and practical information around policing, subscribe to the channel somewhere down below. Keep in mind that I am only looking at the Taq Strap from a law enforcement perspective and not the military perspective, but I will give you my opinion for the military use as well. If you're in the market for a leg strap, you might as well buy the Alien Gear Taq Strap, because it does more than any regular thigh strap would, and it's hard to argue with the ability to apply a tourniquet to yourself faster not being a good thing. Alien Gear does a great job at demonstrating that benefit. But do you need to ditch your old leg strap that works perfectly fine to buy the Taq Strap? No, you don't. To explain why you don't need to do that, I did a little research and discovered that between 2010 and 2019, of the 471 officers who were killed from gunfire, only 3 had been reported to have died from being hit in the legs. 2 officers in 2010 were hit in the front and the back of the legs, and another officer in 2019 was also reported to have been hit in the front legs. That means that every other cop who was hit in the legs during that time lived, and that was obviously before the Taq Strap existed. That could be attributed to having the Taq Strap on hand, another officer providing one for them, or the ability to get by using other means long enough to get to the operating table. I only point that out to show that the practicality of the Taq Strap leans more towards personal preference than it does necessity. The strap feels firm because it has a plastic piece on the inside, but after about a week you don't notice it. As far as comfort while sitting in the vehicle, I would say it's mostly fine. I've only had to sort of adjust my sitting position and the strap very occasionally. I personally don't like the rubber on the inside of the strap because if you are moving around enough, your strap will move, and when it does, your pants will go with it. The Taq Strap is definitely practical from a use case perspective, which is why if you need a strap, it's not hard to make sense of that purchase. But it can't be justified as a necessary piece of equipment. And if you argue the just-in-case mentality, then I would ask you, where do we draw the line, and why not walk around with Taq Straps around our arms as well? It is a faster, more efficient way of applying a tourniquet, but you don't need to feel obligated to spend the money and wear it around your leg. Depending on how you look at it, the benefit of the Taq Strap could actually be its disadvantage, which is that it can only be applied to the particular leg you have it on. I would suggest you buy Alien Gear's standalone tourniquet, which is perfectly capable of doing the same job, and you can use it on any of your extremities. Of course, everyone is free to do as they please, and I'm cool with it either way, but personally, I draw the line at one strap because you are in need of one to begin with. Otherwise, save your money or buy the standalone tourniquet that you can use on any of your limbs or any other officers. When I think about the military setting, it makes me think of the Taq Strap use case in more of a team setting. Again, very practical if you step on an IED or get shot in the leg to have the ability to apply your own tourniquet. But also when you are surrounded by multiple teammates, with some of those teammates having advanced levels of medical training, the need to be able to do that becomes less, in my opinion. I can see where you might want a Marine or soldier wearing one since it's attached to your gear, therefore there shouldn't be an issue for getting the tourniquet before a mission or stepping out on patrol. I don't particularly know if there are cases where an individual in the military died even though they had a tourniquet and were also capable of applying it to themselves. We do know that tourniquets significantly increase the likelihood of survival in combat zones, but it doesn't necessarily mean that if you have a tourniquet you will survive if you get both of your legs blown off. Since survival rates with tourniquets applied in combat zones is based on injury severity, I guess you would have to look at, was the injury survivable and was the individual capable of applying their own tourniquet? If the answer is yes, it was survivable, and yes, they were capable of applying their own tourniquet, then that's where I think you could argue time in applying the tourniquet having been the factor of survival, which would be the practical use case claim for the Taq Strap. I also wonder from an IED perspective if the integrity of the strap would come into question after a blast, and is that something you would have to waste your time assessing or even moving out of the way if it is damaged? I have to admit that when I saw the Taq Strap, I thought it was really cool, and I still do. I think it's a thoughtful idea, it does work as intended, and at least Alien Gear has created several innovative products that serve the law enforcement community. It seems as if the Taq Strap itself doesn't solve any tactical or medical problems in law enforcement that could be associated with any deaths, meaning had they had the Taq Strap, they would have performed better or changed the outcome. I also feel like if you wear 2 of these things, you're kind of a nerd. If you're bored and looking for something to do, tap on the logo to subscribe and support the channel.